For those of you who know me, I don't like many of the self-growth words. I feel that they're very disempowering, like sympathy, empathy, empath, hope even. Do you want to explore why the top 10 self-sabotage words that I don't enjoy and what to use instead of them? Let's go. Welcome to episode 30, where we're going to be exploring the top 10 self-sabotage words. Before we begin, I want to invite you to go to my website and get the first chapters of my book, Transcending Anxiety from Fear to Freedom, for free. www.mattain.me/anxiety. A lot of these self-sabotage words are in my book. The principles that I'll be talking about, these empowering way to see life and to really recognize the beauty that you are all in my book. So go to my website now, download the first chapter. So excited to see you there. www.mattain.me/begin now. Have you ever said a word and then wondered, why did I say that? Or you recognize underneath that there's a tone that's actually disempowering? Today I'm going to explore with you 10 words that I frequently avoid using unless I put quotes around them to recognize that this is a word that we use and has a meaning. Let's explore what these words are, and I will give you replacement words to use instead. So let's start. So number 1, sympathy. Sympathy. You might ask yourself, sympathy. Why should I use sympathy? Sympathy is really about feeling sorry for somebody. I sympathize for you. And from that lens, it means that you see that something is broken in them. Or you feel sorry for them because you feel that you are stronger and better than them. Whether or not you feel sorry for them because you see them as weak, or you see yourself as stronger than them, it is disempowering to both you and to them. So sympathy is a word that usually is used when you sort of, I feel sorry for them. I want to put them down. I want to feel better. It's a very strong ego word. And that ego can be from pain, from sadness, from anger, from having some sort of conflict with them. So the ego can be playing with it in many different ways. Instead of sympathy, I suggest compassion. Compassion is having a unresistant love. It's really putting the heart in an active way of sending love towards them. So instead of sympathy, use compassion. My next word is one that you might say, empathy. Empathy is a really strong, powerful word. Empathy makes us human. When we're able to feel what another person feels, it actually is a really powerful state, because otherwise there's a lot of things like being a narcissist that it doesn't have the ability to emit and feel what other people are feeling. However, when you talk about from my wellness, from a point of self-empowerment and self-strength, empathy essentially means feeling what somebody else is feeling. So if somebody feels sad, you feel sad with them. Someone feels angry, you feel angry with them. Somebody feels frustrated, you feel frustrated with them. So empathy, you are mirroring how the other person feels. So with sympathy, somebody feels a certain way and you feel sorry for them. So you're coming to a certain level. Empathy is mirroring how they feel. Now, when somebody feels bad, sometimes it feels good for them to have somebody feel bad with them, but more empowering for you and for them, rather than to feel and emit what they're feeling, is then the same antidote for sympathy is feeling compassion. Having a strong sense of compassion for them, love for them. Somebody's angry and you feel love towards them, compassion towards what they're going for, what they're going through. Somebody feels sad because of any external circumstance and having compassion for them and compassion what they're going for. I would suggest that instead of sympathy, definitely use empathy, but instead of empathy, definitely use compassion. Whatever you can do is the best, but I would definitely avoid sympathy. And when you're able to, avoid empathy, and both of them. Compassion is really powerful. Now, moving from empathy, the next natural is an empath. An empath is a word that's used really strong in the spiritual world. And I hear very often, oh, that hurts me because I'm an empath. X, Y, and Z because I'm an empath. A lot of empaths have been conditioned to feel very disempowered, that they're feeling overwhelmed because they're empath, that's too loud because they're an empath, they're not able to do it. But being an empath, in my lens, is so powerful. I am an empath, but I am a very empowered empath. My empathy and my empathetic skills have actually made me much more powerful in connecting with other people and connecting with myself. So if you are going to use the term empath, I would strongly suggest that you shift it to make it an empowering noun, not a disempowering noun. And if you can't change empowering to that empath to being empowering, then just see yourself as a powerful being. The ability to feel with either your heart, your ears, your senses, whatever sense it is, as an empath makes you stronger, not weaker. So I strongly suggest that when you think of an empath, that you know that you're empowered rather than a hurt or disempowered being. Next, we'll move on to one of my favorites. Hope. Hope. Hope, you say? Hope? Now, if hope is the best that you get, if the hope is better than frustration and anger, then hope is beautiful. Hope is seeing the light far in the future. But hope is seeing the light in the future. That there's hope for the future. How about for the now? How about everything is fantastic now? How about we don't need to put it into the future? Hope also has the undertone that there's something wrong. There's a fear. I'm fearful of X, but I'm hopeful that time will change and it will become Y. So hope is this really strong word that it has a nuance of the future and that the undertone that there's something wrong and this is why I need hope. So instead of hope, how about trust? A knowing that everything is not going to be okay, but everything is okay. So again, I hope you hear the distinction. Is hope, if hope is the best that you've got, fantastic, stay at hope. But you can get further and higher than hope by seeing that life is beautiful and that everything is okay. And that's from your inherent trust and knowing. One of my next two are my favorites. Struggle. Struggle. That life is a struggle. That I am struggling. Again, very disempowering. Seeing yourself and seeing life as a struggle really hurts. There's a lot of resistance in there. How about rather than life is a struggle and I'm struggling, it just is. Our life experiences just are. We are experiencing. It's not struggles. It's experiences. It's life. It's beautiful. It's amazing. It's mysterious. So I would suggest struggle is the best that you've got. Stay with it. But if you want to your game a bit, I would suggest looking at how life is experience, flowing, allowing. The next word builds up on struggle. It's suffering. Here's so much that life is suffering and there's so much suffering in the life. Similar to struggle, what about if we just see that life is here? It's a human journey. It's mysterious. It's unfolding, and it's here for us to grow and expand. It's all about beautiful life experiences. It's about amazing life that just unfolds in its beautiful, mysterious ways. Rather than seeing life as suffering, let's see life as experiencing. How about anxiety? I've got my book coming up on transcending anxiety. Anxiety is an identity, or I am anxious, or I have anxiety. It's identifying. But anxiety is merely the fear, unacknowledged fears of the future. And it's manifestations of your four bodies, your egoic, your mental, your emotional, and your physical bodies. So rather than saying, I have anxiety, recognize your fear. What are the fears that are holding you back? Rather than saying it's anxiety, what are the expressions? Oh, my hands are tight. Oh, my heart is racing. Oh, I feel like fearful. Oh, my mind is looping. Oh, I believe that things are hard and everything is really struggling and suffering. Break down the expressions of your four bodies and become empowered by their sensations, their manifestations. Should. There should not be, I said that on purpose, any shoulds in life. Life should be about living life from a place of inspiration and desire and love. Rather than should, I get to. Because everything I do is here for my short, medium, or my long-term goals. I get to do X, Y, and Z. Instead of I should go for a jog, I get to. I have the time for it. I want to. So instead of using should, I would highly suggest that you wait till you're inspired until you get to. Along that theme, how about have to? I have to do this. How disempowering is have to? Have to feels like somebody's got something on you and they're controlling you and you have no choice. But I can tell you as a being, you have choice in everything you do. You have choice in your beliefs, in your thoughts, in your feeling, and your actions. So rather than I have to, I'm free to. You're making these choices for ease, for alignment, for your future goals, for other people, for love, whatever it might be. But find in your lens how to shift it to recognizing that everything that you're doing is for your highest good, for your health, for your relationships, for your flow, for your ease. So it's not I have to, but I am free to. And the final in this series, since it's all about the top 10 self-sabotage words, is self-sabotage. Yep, I said it, self-sabotage. So many people use the term self-sabotage, and that self-sabotage term perpetuates the self-sabotage that you might be experiencing. So instead of self-sabotage, and I constantly self-sabotage, why don't you start to become aware of the habits, aware of your actions, aware of the things that you do, and with that awareness, transform it to your human journey, to your life experiences, for your opportunity for growth and expansion. So it's not about self-sabotage. It's all about self-awareness and self-growth and self-beauty and self-alignment. We have the opportunity to live such an amazing human journey. The way that we think ultimately does manifest in the way that we feel and the way that we act and live life. So finding words that really align with how you believe and think and feel and empower you is really important. So these are all suggestions. And if hope is as good as you can get, or self-sabotage is as good as you can get, then it's good enough. But if you want to see how you can start to orient your mind, to start to thinking in ways that are much more empowering, this podcast gives you a list of ways to start to see life in a way to empower you, to free you, to liberate you, and to align you with the beauty that who you are. I hope that you enjoyed this top 10 list. I've got another top 10 list that will be coming out next week. And if you enjoyed this, a lot of these concepts are in my new book, Transcending Anxiety from Fear to Freedom. A lot of the concepts that I talked about with this is in the book, and it talks about how you can understand the manifestations of your four bodies and move all your fears into freedom. If you're interested, go to my website, www.mattain.me/begin now, and download the first few chapters of my book. So excited. My love, always.